In all of these achievements, I would like to know, did you kind of had everything you wanted that made you to achieve all of this?
We did not have everything in the world. In fact, I grew up in the ghetto.
I wanted you to follow through.
My dad was an accountant. There were days I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is to just start sending emails.
So in the quest to apply for your master's to get scholarship,
I knew I sent more than 50 emails.
Hello. First, I want to thank you for tuning in to listening and watch this podcast. I'm particularly happy for this great privilege and honor. It means a lot to me. By tuning in to listen and watch this podcast, you have supported me greatly to live out my dreams of creating a platform where people can learn and ultimately help our younger ones to aspire to be great in the future. I'm making a promise to you that I will continue to create content that will interest you and content that will grow our community. It would be greatly appreciated if you can hit the subscribe button. Together, we can achieve this. This is the Chronicles of a Professional with Emmanuel Ohawo. Thank you. Dr. Edet, I did a little research about you, and you've really won lots of awards, published some journals, lots of academic achievement. Can you kind of share these achievements with me?
Okay, thank you. I'll start by kind of like introducing my undergraduate award, which is kind of way back. Was kind of like the best graduating student during my undergraduate. But moving towards my master's, I won one of the prestigious award in my department, which is the award was actually designed for someone who was able to complete all their coursework and also gets their proposal ready, all within the first year of their master's program. Then I also moved down to my PhD, where I won the CSB award for my research, but also won a teaching award for my teaching at the university. Then aside from that, there were several other awards which I won both within the department and within the faculty, as well as at the university.
Interesting. So you had your bachelor's education in University of Yo, and then you moved for your master's degree with University of Saskatchewan, and
That's
then
right.
your PhD with University of Manitoba.
That's right.
And then you're right now a doctor with University of Manitoba.
Yes.
This is quite commendable, inspirational, and I'm sure a lot of younger ones will be, looking at you as a role model. And you've done, some work in the area of biosystems and biomedical. I mean, we're going to come back to all of this. Now, in all of these achievements, I would like to know, were you growing up, did you kind of had everything you wanted that made you to achieve all of this? Just share with us, what was your growing up like?
I would say, if I put it in technical terms, I would say I didn't have anything. But if I put it from an emotional aspect, I think I had all. I had the love of my parents, my mom and dad. I had the support from them that they actually wanted me to succeed. We did not have everything in the world. In fact, I grew up in the ghetto. So it was more like every day it was a survival for us. But one thing my parents also made sure was they wanted something better for us. And they actually worked towards helping us achieve those goals with the little that they have. We went to one of the private schooling while things were still struggling at home, and which actually laid a good foundation for me. And after then, I went for my secondary school, but I recall there was a day my dad had a discussion with me. That was during my high school, if I'm not mistaken. He asked me, "Hey, young man, what do you want to be when you grow up?" As kids, we have all those stories. And interestingly, if I explain the route, I was just watching a movie, and it was James Bond, and there was this interesting car he had that could move on water, and the car could fly, and I was like, I want to build that car.
Interesting.
And I kind of searched and wanted to find out, okay, what skill would you need to build such kind of car? And I realized, okay, you have to be a mechanical engineer. However, most times you go to your hometown and just to spend time with your grandparents or your cousins or uncles. And I could actually see how people struggle in terms of the farm, trying to use manual means to get work done. And my dream kind of like shifted a bit again, and that was when I felt, okay, maybe I don't want to design cars that fly. I want to design tools that actually help these people make their work easy. And that's when I felt, okay, I think I want to become an agricultural engineer. And ever since then, I've actually been working towards making people who actually produce for the world, other people to feed, their life easy and their work easy as well.
This is very, like, listening to you, I was kind of thinking, I remember some years back, one of my sons actually walked up to me, and then he said he would like to develop something that could help grandma walk, because grandma was having a challenge. And watching her, he was kind of thinking, what could I do to help this woman walk again? So it's kind of, pretty much connected to your story, looking at people manually doing some work in the farm and then going, oh, what can I do to help these guys? I mean, this is very inspirational. So in all of these achievements, and then you went through this dream and your education, your qualifications, and then all of these things. How do all of these achievements make you feel looking back?
I feel happy. I feel fulfilled. I feel I've kind of make my parents proud because I've actually helped them. They did not waste their efforts. At least they didn't waste their time in trying to put that, give me that support, and also help me become the man that I am. So it's more that, first of all, like I said, I give it all to them, but it's kind of like a fulfillment that all those effort, all those pain they pass through has actually become something fruitful. So
right.
That's one aspect. But another aspect is that it does also make me realize that you can achieve anything. No matter what, once you put your mind into something, you can achieve it. And once you have the right people around you, you can also achieve that. Part of my achievement has also humbled me a bit, in the sense that as you move up the ladder, you feel you know so much, but you get to a particular level, it humbles you and makes you realize, okay, I think this is what I just know. There are other people that know other aspects, that you should also listen to other people when they give their opinion. That is not like your opinion is the final. You're just making your own suggestion towards a particular topic, based on your own findings and research. So that's one aspect that's done, but it has also helped me to kind of like lay a foundation or a standard on how I want to work with my kids as well, on how to actually help them achieve their own goal.
Interesting. So yeah, it's so when you conceived the idea that you would like to go into the world of engineering, I know then it wasn't really something you were so sure of. It was just that conception and the mindset of trying to help and all of that. What exactly, like, did you share that idea with your parents, your dad maybe? Like, what reaction, what was kind of their reaction in there? Was there a particular kind of area they wanted you to follow through? For example, back home, most parents, I want you to be a medical doctor. I want you to be, all of those things. Was there kind of an aspect your parents wanted you to be, and what was their reaction when you finally shared your idea with them?
Yeah, like for me, well, when I had that one-on-one meeting, I did not perceive that my parents wanted to impose a particular career for me. What I just saw, they wanted to find out if I know what I want, and if I wasn't sure about what I want to do with my life, they can also kind of maybe make some suggestion, and I can try one or two things and see which one works well for me. I felt that was what the discussion was all about. My dad was an accountant.
Yeah.
So if he had wanted to push, he would have pushed me in that direction.
Yeah, to have somebody who will take after him and all of those things.
But interestingly, there's no accountant in the house.
Interesting.
So that's why today I look back and I felt that it was more about what I wanted to do rather than what he wanted me to do.
Interesting. So let's look at your education here. So you had your bachelor's in Nigeria and your master's with University of Saskatchewan and then PhD with University of Manitoba. Talk to me, Dr. Edet. At what time did this kind of the idea that, I have my bachelor's now, and what were you doing that time, and at what time did you think, it would be important to kind of get extra education abroad, and what was the connection with coming over and all of those things?
Most of us will know that, at least most of us that has actually had maybe one degree in Nigeria and another degree in Western world will kind of like see the difference there. So while going through my undergraduates, as much as the theory was there, there were a lot of minimal interaction with the hands-on experience as well. So sometimes you had to imagine things and just they explain things and you just imagine those concepts. So I met an instructor. There was one particular instructor who actually kind of, to some extent, I would say, framed the way I reason.
Like mentorship.
Yeah, not really mentorship because I didn't really go to him one-on-one, but I just admire his teaching style, which he could actually connect things you could, any concept he had, he could connect it to things around you, so that it's easier for you to be able to understand that particular concept.
Yeah.
But after my undergraduate, I told myself, if I want to go for a master's, do I still want to go do a master's that it will still be another me imagining things, or go to somewhere that let me do my master's outside and see how education,
the global experience in terms of education.
So that's where, if I want to adjust anything, I know that I'm adjusting it based on international standard and know what is really expected of an engineer and how to make any adjustments. And that was what actually pushed me to seek for masters outside the shore of Nigeria. And I was fortunate to get a scholarship to do my masters. And it was a worthwhile experience because I learned so many things, learned so many softwares, learned so many new concepts. some of those things that we are taught were basic. I could actually see the application of those concepts, because sometimes you had a class on a Monday, for example, on Tuesday, you're in the lab trying to apply those concepts that you learned during the lecture, and even the research work I did actually gave me opportunity to actually spend more time developing or doing some research on those particular areas of agricultural engineering as well. And because of the much presence of agriculture here in the Perry provinces and agricultural machinery companies, it was easier for you to actually get your results tested immediately. So that was something I kind of enjoyed, that you could see your work come alive, as opposed to just ending it in form of a sketch or just a research paper. But no, it actually came alive. So that was something I kind of like enjoyed doing my master's.
And that was at University of Saskatchewan.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll come back to your PhD, but before we, get there, I would like to sort of, let you share your experience. You made mention that you got a scholarship. A lot of young folks in Nigeria, let's say Anumana listening to us, Mecca, Musa, Biola, and all of those people aspire and wanting to, be like you. Tell me about the process, and without getting to the weeds of it, just anybody listening, how they can easily connect to the scholarship things, the basic things they need to look out, and how you succeeded, securing that scholarship and what they need to do for their masters.
Yeah.
Just on a very high level.
Okay. From a generic point, the first thing you have to do is to, first of all, identify what program you want to get into. The next step is to figure out which university offer that particular program, or more importantly, what research area. If you're going for a research-based master's, which is MSc, or if you are going for a course-based master's, which is MNG. If it's MNG, you just look for the program and look for the university that offers that particular program. But in my own case was an MSc. So it was more about looking for a professor that is in line with a research area that I was interested in. So the first aspect was to look for a professor that was working in an area that I was interested in. And once I was able to identify several professors, the next aspect is to reach out to them. But reaching out to them means preparing my CV, not resume. CV in the sense of more detailed breakdown of what you've done, your achievements. If you have publications, you include those things, as opposed to CV, which is more like you looking for a job, which is in most cases 2 pages, but the CV is much longer than 2 pages.
That's interesting.
So you have the CV, you have what is called SOP, statement of purpose.
Yeah.
So that would actually highlight what you would like to work in. But one other aspect is for you to also have your transcript, because so that the professor can look at it and actually see if you've built the skill sets that would enable you to actually excel well in the program that you're coming to. But also help him, if he or she is going to stay accept, you also help him to guide you in selecting the right course that would give you the skill to actually do your research activity or research work very well. Now, one aspect which I noticed when I was trying to reach out to people was sending generic email. All I just did was just compose one email, change the name, or change the name of the person, change the title, and just send it. But looking backward, now I read emails that I get, and you can actually identify what is generic and what is not, what somebody's actually tailoring to you. So it's
So in other words, the candidates or intending master students should tailor their emails to that particular research interest area, rather than just having one email and distributing it to all the professors, right?
Yes, and not just the email, the SOP as well, because you have to tailor it to fit. Show them, because you want to show the professor that this is, you like to work with them, and the SOP should show that yes, your research aligned together.
Exactly.
So it's not just use the email as well, but also the SOP as well.
So every application should be unique.
Every application should be unique.
Okay. Yeah.
So but another aspect is, I would say if you have people that can vouch for you, it would also help.
So by that you mean reference?
Yeah, more like reference, not more like it's reference that can actually say, oh yes, this person can get the job done, and I've worked with this person, so it makes it a lot easier because the educational environment is different. You understand? So those reference can also help, because it's not these professors, they get these emails on a daily basis. You're not the only one. I wasn't the only one reaching out to them. In fact, there were days I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is to just start sending emails. And I was just fortunate. I knew I sent more than 50 emails. Sometimes I'll do follow up.
So in the quest to apply for your master's to get scholarship, you sent 50
more than 50
emails
to different professors to actually see if they would accept me. Now my own case might be unique. I had a friend who contacted a professor during the same period, and she was able to, she sent her email in the morning. Based on the time difference, in the evening she got a response. Oh yes, I've accepted you, go and apply for admission.
Wow.
So it all differs.
Yeah, those are unique cases.
Yeah. Sometimes some professors might be this urgent need for students, and because of that, you might just connect that point in time, and they look at your resume and feel, okay, think you are the right candidate, and they just pick it. Other times you might reach out to a professor, maybe he or she is not actually looking for students. So why respond to you at that point in time when they know they can't really offer what you're asking for?
Okay, interesting. So right now, coming to your PhD, right now you're a researcher in the Faculty of Engineering, University of Manitoba. So during your PhD program, what was your research interest area?
My research was under human factor safety and machine system design. That's kind of like if I bring all that I did during my PhD, that's where those three specialties kind of fit into.
That sounds interesting. So talk to me about that. So to a layman, what exactly does that mean?
When you look at human factor, simply focuses more on how the human being would interact with the system. One is for you to design, let's say you design a car. Now, how would the human being use that car such that you consider the comfort of the human being, the ease of use, as well as the safety of the human being as well. And a lot of time you ask yourself, okay, why do I have my steering, for example, in front of me? Why is the steering not at the right end? It's because there are principles that guide how you arrange those different components of in a car. You look at chairs, you see there are some chairs you sit down, you feel so relaxed and comfortable. And there are some chairs you sit and you feel, I think I have to stand up and not really feeling comfortable. There are some economic things that we are considered, principles that we are considered, actually to make you feel relaxed. Maybe the distance between where you rest your back, how you position your hand in the seat, all that, there are principles that guide those things to help you organize it. But in my own case, my focus was more about trying to develop a system that farmers can actually use to remotely supervise automated agricultural machine. So there's this push that tractors, combines, and even sprayers will become driverless. You hear of driverless cars.
Yeah.
That concept has also been moving in the agricultural machinery world as well. So we came up with the concept that if you don't have the machine, the farmer in the machine again, how would the farmer know what's really going on? If the machine is doing the job well, is there a problem with the machine or what's really going on?
Is it from the monitoring perspective?
From the monitoring perspective.
Okay.
It might also be from monitoring, but also be from the control. Like if there's an emergency, how will the farmer react? Is it going to stop the machine? What's going to happen? Or is the machine going to stop itself? What if there's a malfunction that the machine cannot stop itself? So those are those things that we looked at and we felt, okay, there's a thing, let's figure out, there might be need for the farmer to have a tool that they want to use to see what the machine is doing.
So it was more like proactively thinking about the driverless world in terms of agricultural machinery, like wondering, so if there's no driver driving a tractor, for example, how would the farmer know that this machine, which is a tractor, is actually doing what it's expected to do?
Yes.
And where maybe there are accidents or anything like that, how do you do that?
Intervene.
So basically, you guys were, in your research, for your PhD, you guys were focused more on, factoring all these cases,
Yes.
and making sure that things are
And developing a
managed.
system.
Developing
a system, and that's where the machine system design component comes into play. Like developing a system that the farmer can use to remotely see what it does. Since it's no longer in the machine, you can actually have that system and actually understand what's happening with the machine. I've published several papers on that, won several awards under that particular research work. We came up with a tablet size app that the farmer can actually look at and see. There was a video component to actually see what the machine is doing and get to understand there's some telemetric information in the app that will actually tell what's the condition of the machine or the system itself. If there's a problem and they want to stop the machine, they can override the machine and actually shut it down. Or if there's any problem that they feel, no, I think the machine can handle it or it's fine, they can just hit the ignore button as well. So the economic component came into play in the sense that we had to make it efficient. For the farmer, we also need to consider the farmer's environment. We also need to consider the farmer's work life. Would the farmer like to just sit? Is he a person that will sit down in one place and use the system, or is it somebody that will be moving around? Initially, we wanted to design it on a desktop, but having studied the farmer, realized they are not going to be sitting down in one place, and we decided to move it as a mobile system so that it's easier for the farmer or whoever is in charge of monitoring the seed machine can actually move and perform other tasks that is expected as well.
This is interesting. So is there anywhere that is being used right now, or is still like proof of concept stage, or it's actually being used anywhere right now?
I could see some of the work in bits because I've seen people refer my work. I've seen standard being modified based on the work we've done. So in bits, I've seen the application, but in terms of the commercialization component, we've not gotten to to that stage, just because research is one aspect. When you start looking at commercialization, there's a lot that goes into that aspect. You're looking at law on automated or driverless equipment. You also need to also consider those things. So there are still additional research or work that still needs to be done before it gets to that commercialization aspect. You also need to consider the farmer. You want to also provide something that is not just only efficient but also cost effective, that actually meets their needs. So there's that trading as well.
Again, the people listening to us, those wanting to, get into the PhD program, especially this research area and all of those things, going through challenges and struggles or whatnot and all of those things, what encouraging message do you have for them?
The question is a bit broad. It depends on if you want to advise someone, advise it's on need specific basis. But PhDs it's an interesting journey. You understand? It's something that by the end of the day you feel fulfilled, especially if you actually desire to go into research and academia. You love what you've accomplished by the end of the day. And if you're someone who is like me, who would love to see their work come to life, then it's also a good place for you to be as well.
That's a very encouraging one. So, Dr. Edet, as we wrap up this podcast, we usually have a game that we play at the end. Are you ready for that game? So basically, that game is we try to ask some questions. It's part of the Chronicles of a Professional podcast game. So let's do it. So I will walk you through the rule of the game first, and then we can start. So I have these 3 cups here, and each of them contains a question in it.
Okay.
So here and here. So I have this ball. So what you're gonna do is I'm gonna give you this ball. You're gonna roll the ball. If it hits any of the cups, then the question in there will be the question that you're gonna answer. Are you ready? Let's do it.
Okay, I'll close my eyes.
You have 3 trials to hit the cup.
Okay.
Okay, you missed
It's
this.
not going.
2 more.
I have to put my eyes there. Really?
1 more.
Okay, I've estimated the game.
There you go. Okay, so let's see what you have. You chose this question. Let's see what you have in there. Okay, so the first question is, what is your favorite Nigerian food?
Oh, pounded yam. No, fufu and melon soup.
There you go. Question 2 is, what's your Canadian favorite food?
Oh. I don't know if I'll say burger is Canadian, no, but I think I like their protein. So I'll go for protein.
Okay. So, which country outside Nigeria and Canada would you like to visit?
It's an interesting one. I would like to go to Australia. As much as I don't like the reptile, I would just still like to go to Australia. I've heard a lot about the place and think it's somewhere interesting I would like to visit.
Okay. So, what's your favorite sport?
Soccer.
Which league is your best league?
La Liga.
And what's your favorite club?
Real Madrid.
Okay. Interesting. What book are you currently reading now?
I don't want Premier League fans to start chasing me after this podcast.
So, what book are you currently reading?
Oh, I read a lot. In my field, reading is an everyday thing. So, I don't know which one should I mention. Both scientific, both for fun. I would say I read Papa Pig because I spend more time reading for my kids after work.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so if you have the power to change one thing on earth, what would that be?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't think I'll change anything. Change on earth, or is it change something about myself?
On earth, in the world.
Everyone should be happy.
On this note, Dr. Uduak Edet, I want to thank you for making time to be here.